Hello and welcome to the 90's podcast, your home for all things Newcastle United, hosted by two lifelong Newcastle United supporting buddies. Myself, D-Man, with my co-host Jefferson. How you doing, bro?
What's good? What's good? What's good?
You alright?
I'm all right, you know. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, man. Not too bad. Boy, we're joined today by another guest, Big Yinks. How you doing, my friend?
I'm alright, King. Nice to see everybody, man. Can't wait, man. It's gonna be spicy today, boy.
Yeah. A lot of stuff to get through and that. Um, but yeah, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Get involved in the discussion, and we can take it from there. But yeah, man, a lot to get through. Busy week for Newcastle United. But what we're gonna do is talk about Newcastle, and then we're gonna go on to the Premier League preview. So we're gonna talk about the other teams, the Liverpool, the Chelseas, the relegation threatened teams, maybe top scorer, first manager to get sacked, all that good stuff. But yeah, big up the Red Pitch podcast, big up Cav. As you said, hit the likes and that. Big up the Mackenzie family as well. Bulky's in as well.
And that Boki.
Yeah, man. Nice to see you. But yeah, let's get started. So, you know what I mean? It's a busy week for Newcastle in terms of transfers for once. Yeah, we seem to be I say moving in the right direction. We made two signings in the last few days. Starting with Malick Thiaw from AC Milan. Centre back, one of the positions that we were screaming that we needed additions for in. What's your thoughts, Jefferson? Malick Thiaw, now signed.
I actually think it's a good signing. So this is without me. You know, I always get hyper analytical, where I'll be talking about what's gone here, what's gone on there. So I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to say is he is the profile that we need. Yeah, so we've been looking for someone that's aggressive, robust in the challenge, but also, they have that recovery pace. I think we're sick and tired of being caught on the break, with Dad's Army at the back through the middle. And we've talked about utilizing the energy of the fullbacks and them having to cover all the time. So signing Malick Thiaw, who effectively could become quite the colossus. He's got the makeup of someone like a Vincent Company. When I look at him, reminds me of that of the video highlights I've seen. So I think that takes us to the next level. Now, it's not to say that he's going to supersede Share. It just means that I think personally, without the ball, it makes us more assured. Whereas if we're going to control a game, Share should start the game because he's better passing out from the back potentially. But yeah,
Okay,
my take from it.
interesting. Jinx, any thoughts on Malick Thiaw?
To be fair, I've not watched much of the play, if I had to be quite frank and honest. And, but from what I've seen, I feel like we've made a very good signing. I think one thing that caught the eye for me was that he's one of the, I think for the under 23s, for under 23-year-old, he's made the most progressive passes. So essentially, there's a multitude of different factors that comes into his game that none of us have even seen, and also there's a lot of unhidden potential that we can tap into. Again, I think Cher's been a remarkable member of our squad. Sometimes seeing him play as a centre back and his ability to pass and to break lines is phenomenal. Hopefully, Tao is just like that. But I think one of the main strengths of what I've seen from him is that his tackling ability is crazy. He crunches people and he leaves a little bit of himself on you, so you'll never forget that you played against Malick Tao. So I can't wait to see some of them challenges, and I would love to see if him and Botman can build a bond and actually grow as a partnership, and hopefully a formidable one for years to come. So I'm excited, and Gay was the person that we were all supposed to come, but I think Malik Tao is a good signing. And I think the most important thing is the price point. For me, is vital that we got him at the right price. Even though we could got him for a lot cheaper if it was done earlier, but better late than never.
Yes, it's interesting because we were linked to Chow last year, and for those like I said who watched 90's mags, we were screaming that he was the target we should have been going for, and ironically, it appeared that it was a Mitchell. Mitchell identified him, but how he stuck with Mark Gay. He obviously we know how that ended, but yeah, man, it seems like like he said, he brings that much needed pace to the back line, especially our centre back pairing because we've got two slow centre backs at the moment.
Yeah.
They're good centre backs, but they're very slow. They're very old. He brings youth as well. And like you said, the potential of him and Botman together it could be a centre back pairing for years to come. And if they can click with the likes of Tino and Hall at the sides on the flanks, it could be one of the best defenses in the league. Going back to what a season ago when we didn't concede goals. That was our rock. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But with the fact that he defends on the front, it seems like he defends on the front foot, right? Do you think that could be an issue with Botman? Because Botman tends to do that as well, or is Botman more? Do you think Botman's the one who sits back and allows him to? Do you think they complement each other really well?
I think they complement each other phenomenally. I think Botman, I call him the Rolls Royce. He takes his time. He's very. He defends like a musical. Just takes his time and he goes with strolls. He'll find a pass. I think Malick Thiaw is more of the. He's more of the like what's it, a Vidic. No nonsense to a degree. Like, yo, where's the ball at? But he can also play out the back as well. So I do believe we should see a new dimension in terms of our defense, and I believe this year is Tino's breakout year. It has to be his breakout year, where we see him evolve to becoming one of the best right backs in the Premiership. So having someone like Malick right next to him can give him the reassurance to push up, and also with Malick's ability to pass out the back. We should be seeing some beautiful link-up play out of defence with Malick, Botman, and Tino, and even with Lewis Hall with his technical ability as well. I
Yeah.
generally feel like that ability to pass out the back with Ramsey and goal is increased phenomenally from last season. Because again, Dan Burn wasn't the greatest. He tries his, but he ain't the greatest at it. Nick Pope, for a fact, that boy can't pass. That boy can't pass. So it's definitely our defense is upgraded. That's why I have a lot of hope this season. But there's other situations.
Okay.
I think that's a
So
good insight. Just to add, I like
yeah,
that. I didn't think about it like that. If you look at the back four, as Connor's put up in the chat, if you've got Hall and Botman on one side, that's technical. If you've got Chow and Tino on the other side, it's more sort of raw and physical. So
Mhm.
it marries up quite well. I didn't think about it like that at all. It's really good insight.
okay. So the question is now, and anyone who can answer this, given the fact, and we say it all the time, given the fact that Eddie Howe takes a long time to bed in his new signings, how soon do you think it is, not only for him to make his start, a start for us, but how soon do you think, if they both stay fit, do we get to see Botman and Child together?
Ooh, you see the sweat drip from my
man.
like. Oh.
Do you think all right, let me put it this way. Do you think we see that particular centre back pairing before game week 10?
I think we're seeing five at the back against Villa. I generally think we're seeing five at the back. So it could be Botman and Tau, could be, but I think it's five at the back. With all our defenders fit, I think he's playing five at the back, especially during the situation because of the scenario we're in at this moment of time. I generally think he's playing five at the back.
Okay.
And I do think he'll find it hard to know which one to drop. So playing the three centre backs
Makes it easy
for him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big up Adrian in the chat. He said, weren't Botman and those Paolo Maldini's dream partner pairing way back when? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. Big up Scants on the Red Pitch podcast as well. Liverpool fan. He
And
said the dominoes are starting. I know what he's alluding to, but you know what I mean? It's all
mate, we're gonna be holding these receipts for when you come on the show, yeah?
good.
All right.
But yeah, just moving on then. It wasn't Malik Chow wasn't the only sign that we made. We seem to be picking up the pace now because
What's going on? What's going on?
we're not used to this, man. We're not used to this. But we signed Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa for around £40 million, midfielder. English, you know what I mean? He can play in the left-sided 8 role. Apparently he played the number 10 role. Apparently Eddie Howe's been, scouting him for a long time. I'll start with you, Jefferson. What's your thought? Take a sip before you go in. What's your thoughts on the Jacob Ramsey signing?
Wow, I'm the shreddies, and Yinks is going to be the frosted icing.
Yeah, trust me.
There's a system to the way D-Man thinks.
The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Listen, I feel on reflection, yeah, I can see that he is an attacking midfielder of sorts. So that's positive. The issue is the fee for me and his fitness issues, but also the profile of player. So, for example, I think it would have been good if we signed him if we had managed to sell Willock. So it would have been an upgrade on Willock, but with Willock still in the squad, it's like we don't need this guy now, in my opinion. I would have preferred El Canoes because Canoes is better in possession. So we've seen so many times we can't, unlock a low block. We need someone that can pass through the lines, and that was very evident. Even if you look at the game against Atletico Madrid, um, they were able to display with their players how they can combine energy, right? The runners with people that can pass the ball. However, we're talking about fine margins here, and we are desperate. I'm going to be real with you. We are desperate, and I think that plays out in us paying the fee for someone who's more of a fourth choice centre midfielder, squad player. Was promising until a couple of years ago, and he's had a run of injuries. So hopefully we can look after him. Maybe Bunce can work some kind of magic. I don't know. We can get him a good fitness routine and hopefully see the best out of him. But in terms of the transfer strategy there, probably not for the best. As we talked about before we came on, I think would have been a decent signing if it was a loan.
Okay, okay. Yinks, what's your thoughts?
I feel like Jefferson's being PG. If I had to be honest, if I had to be honest, it's underwhelming. But I would like to just add context to it. I think he's a good player. I think he does increase the strength of our squad. However, again, it goes back to lackluster scouting. Essentially, again, it's another signing where that by we either they found the scouting book in a corner, and they opened it, like, oh, let's go to Ramsey. What I find quite difficult is that we've been following. Eddie Howe has liked him for a very long time, but he hasn't played well in a very long time as well. The price point doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a bit excessive. I do believe that he can be a great asset to our squad, but again, it's about the profile. I don't know. I can't. No. I think it's difficult for anyone to explain me why we signed him, and that's what I find difficult, and that's why I kind of blame the scouting, because it seems as if we're just signing players for the sake of signing players to shut the fans up, and rather than it being adequate for the squad and to actually push us further. Because we already on that left side of midfield, we already had what's his name? We got Longstaff and we got Joe Linton already. Sorry, but we got Willock and Joe Linton there already. And what I found difficult was that I don't perceive him as a Longstaff replacement. For me, I think he's more of an Anderson replacement. And if he's an Anderson replacement, comparing them both equally, we kind of regressed in that particular aspect. But again, I don't want to be disrespectful towards Ramsey because essentially he could come and be a phenomenal player. I think he does have a lot of potential, and hopefully we can tap into that. One thing I can say about Eddie Howe, he has the ability to profile players and also make them better. So on the scouting side, it's underwhelming, but I do believe there's a lot of potential. So hopefully he can be the player that that the world expects him to be. Hopefully he can actually push our squad forward. But based on how we've identified players, it doesn't seem a lot of work was done for me. And this signing was because again on NUFC fan TV, the Villa fan himself said that he's not a centre midfielder, he's a left midfielder. The Villa fan also said that they were happy to get the money that they got because they believe they got one over us. So, and we have to have faith in Eddie Howe and faith in that Eddie Howe can make him a better player than he was previously. So that's my personal opinion.
Okay. I slightly disagree. I think it's a good sign. Listen, I take in consideration his injury record because that is a bit shaky. If I'm going if he can stay fit because we saw a couple of seasons ago that he was one of the most talked about youngsters in the league, let alone for Villa when he was putting in the performances. Now, I believe that he's there to listen to add to squad depth and to compete with Joe Linton on that left-sided 8 position, right? And what he brings that Joe Linton doesn't is his ball carrying ability. Is probably his attacking ability, yeah, and the fact that he's a bit quick. I say he's a bit quicker, but he does seem to be a bit quicker, more comfortable on the ball as well, yeah. And apparently I haven't seen a lot of him in a number 10 role, but people say that he can play that number 10 role, which is something we lack. Yeah, I know we talked about El Canoes there, which would probably be an ideal. I mean, if we could get both of them, that would be amazing.
Right.
But it looks like it's going to be it's Ramsey instead of El Canoes, whatever. But like you mentioned, he's young. Eddie Howe has a history of working with young talent and improving them. Not even young talent, with talent and improving them.
Yeah.
And I will. You talked about the scouting. It looks like we're buying anybody, but you have to go on previous history. And with all the signs that we've made under Eddie Howe, how many have really not worked? I think if you'd probably say 90% of them have worked. You know what I mean? There's only a few that haven't, and you have to trust until they sound duds in a row. I think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like you said, he has the potential to be a very good player, and the price itself, to me, you're paying 40 million for a young Premier League player. So you've got that tax on there anyway. And to be fair, the price, as long as we can afford it, we're not putting ourselves in any financial difficulty because we needed a midfielder. We lost Longstaff. Willock got injured, and I think he's an upgrade on Willock. Yeah, I think he's better than Longstaff, but slightly different position. I think this is someone, but this position we need filling, and I don't think he's a bad candidate to do so. Do I expect the fact that we've got Joe Linton there anyway means that Ramsey's not going to play every single game, so that could help in terms of his injuries and stuff. But I think he adds something different to that midfield, a bit more dynamism than Joe Linton, and I expect to get more GH on Joe Linton. So let's see what he does. I can understand, he's not the all thrills signing kind of thing, but I think it's a solid signing. And let's see what he can do.
In terms of D-Man, I have to cut in there. In terms of, I talked a little bit on talked about it a little bit on NUFC Talk TV yesterday. That in terms the profile is so important because we literally just talked about that with Malick Thiaw. So, for example, if we'd got Van Hecker, not that I would have been complaining, Van Hecker's just another share. So, as good as he is, it's a good signing, but it wouldn't have worked because it's not the profile of player we need to improve us, right? Whereas it's a similar thing. We've already got Willock, who's a runner. Bruno, okay, if he gets further up the pitch, he can pass, but generally he's a runner. Tonali, a runner. So we needed a different profile. Unless we got more money and we're looking to buy this El Canoes kid, because I've heard apparently as well as number 10, he can play left side. Whether we need 3 left-siders, I don't know. But it's just the profile for me.
Yeah.
The profile and the price without even looking into the fitness issues. So just a wee bit concerning. The other thing for me, I'll make a quick point, is about the depth. So Boki made a great point in the chat in terms of when we're looking to sign players, we should be looking to sign players that are going to challenge for the first team or arguably become the first team. And then the first team players become the squad players. So in other words, don't get too comfortable. We need to sign players that can challenge them. And a great example of that was Spurs. In 2019, they got to the Champions League final. And I think they were very afraid to ruin and disrupt that first 11. But as we know, it's a squad game. There's 5 substitutes in a game. So I think we've also been very comfortable and lazy at the same time in terms of that recruitment. If we've done some proper scouting, we've talked about the likes of Edison, Javi Guerra, Sunset, players like this. That's a player that goes into the first team, takes Joe Linton's place and elevates us, whereas Jacob Ramsey doesn't at the moment. How long that'll be, we don't know.
Can I ask a quick question? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I personally believe that the reason, again, why I won't say I'm against Jacob Ramsey in any way, shape, or form. I hope he becomes a phenomenal player at Newcastle, and I do see him as a decent signing. Again, I always look at the price point, but which one of our players are good in chaos? Is Joe Linton and Jacob Murphy. Like they're the most unorthodox players that we have in our team. Only God knows what they're gonna do. Sometimes you can have Joe, what's his name? Jacob Murphy could get the ball and just span it in a box and do something crazy, shoot from somewhere where like I didn't even know he had the ability to do that. And the same with Joe Linton, who, but again, they always have a mistake in them. And it just seems as if we've not identified any player that could actually work in chaos. I thought 40, if I was to spend 40 million, I generally think that we should go for Harvey Elliott because I think he can work in chaos because we want to be a transitional team, but no team's going to allow us to play in transition. Like literally, that's why they formulate that low block. Like any team we play against, even flipping, I think Spurs, that low block was there and ready to play us because they know as a squad we're the best in transition. So it's just I don't know who, like, the only player that we've actually identified who would have worked well in chaos was probably Pedro. But obviously we didn't sign him.
Mm.
So it's just that that's why I'm like, okay, cool. Like I don't mind Ramsey. Maybe there's something about him that I haven't seen. But I want a player that can work in chaos. Like when the ball is just that they can make it work. The closest player that we have, yeah, for me is probably Joe Linton and Murphy. But they're not they're very inconsistent.
Consistent, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously he's here now, Ramsey. He adds to the midfield. We've got Malick Chow. We still need more, all right? So we can spend. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but the striker situation because that still needs addressing. Now, put Isak to the side. Yeah, let's talk about Johan Wissa. Yeah, how confident are you that we get this one over the line? And what's your thoughts about hypothetically if we was to sign him? Would that constitute as a good signing? I'll
I think
start
that'd be
with
an
you.
amazing signing. I think
Yeah.
it'll be a phenomenal signing. Again, as I say, it's just we need players that can work in chaos because we get the low block on us immediately. And I feel like he has the ability to drop deep. He can link play. Obviously, the only issue is that he's not tall and he's not going to win headers like Isaac never even won any headers anyway. But I just believe that as somebody who is unorthodox in his approach and how he plays, I feel like he will, if we work well with him, provide a lot of opportunities for not only himself but for other players as well. Because I genuinely feel like, especially in that low block, I feel like he will find doors that we can't find here and there.
Okay, Jefferson.
Yeah, I just think obviously Brentford are very direct in the way that they play. We don't play direct, and obviously historically, if you look at Vissa, he was able to really link up well with Tony, who could hold up the ball well. And one thing that Mbuemo did give you was an outlet to get higher up the pitch, suck people in, and then lay it across. So I'm not saying we don't have that, but we're not as direct. So I very much think Vissa is a foil for someone. So although we can sign Vissa, who's a good signing, I think the key to him being successful is having a striker. And who's that striker going to be, if that makes sense? So who's he going to play off of? Because he's not, for me, he's not someone that's going to lead the line. So I think he would be a good signing, but I think his success is very much dependent on have we got Isak or who is it that is we're going to sign as our centre forward to play off him, essentially.
So you think if we sign him, he's going to play as a pair?
Potentially, or like a in a 1-1 situation, like behind someone with a little bit of space. And the other thing about that is because I've talked about it a lot. We just keep whipping the ball in the box, and as Big Yinks are talking about, you're not gonna see Vissa leaping like a gazelle, 10 foot in the air to get
You
a
say
header.
that though.
So who's gonna be there?
I
Who's
read
gonna
I
be
read
there?
a stat that a lot of his goals came from corners and free kicks last season. So
He's
Yeah, but
acrobatic. He's
you
done
yeah,
he's
but
know,
done like rainbow kicks,
yeah,
overhead kicks, and I've seen like
yeah,
some instinctive sort of flicks where
yeah.
he's just like flicked his leg out. He's good at
He's
that sort of
yeah, he's
stuff.
very instinctive. He's very instinctive,
Um,
but he's not. He's not. I've not seen much headers like up in the air. Like nah, but very
but
instinctive.
yeah, but like you said, Isak didn't score too many headers, so that's not really
Exactly.
our game, to be fair. So
Yeah.
Adrian said, "Would Vista get the number 9?"
Hell
Um,
no.
ooh,
Hell no. Hell
no,
no. Hell
okay,
no.
no, probably not.
Newcastle won't give it to him.
Nah.
one plus
They ain't gonna give
eight.
him number nine. Yeah, yeah. Give it 18.
Ben,
100%.
Ben said, "I'd love Vista, but I think there are too many moving parts to see the deal get done." I'd read somewhere that they got a verbal agreement, Bournemouth and Brentford for is it Ataro? Is that how you say it? I
Ataro,
think
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that once that gets done, then
Good player
we'll
as
just
well.
see
I'm
that
very
through.
shocked he's going to Brentford because obviously not teasing what's coming later, but I don't know. I'm feeling a bit iffy about Brentford, so I think Otara's going in the wrong direction because
Yeah,
he did well last season.
Yeah, maybe Brentford can offer him more money. You never know.
Yeah.
Just quickly on the you talked about Harvey Elliott. Scanter said Hutchinson went for 35, so Elliott 50 million. So you know what I mean?
Oh,
Which is a fair point. You know, if you look
yeah,
at that as a
yeah.
barometer, you never know. Like it's one of them. It's we need
What?
Chris Wood back. No, but we don't. We
It's,
don't. We really
the
don't.
way we're whipping it in the box at the moment. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
Kenny said we need an old-fashioned number 9.
Yeah.
I don't
Listen,
know, man.
because
I
that's
don't know.
as much as you know. Well, we saw it with the other day with Alanga, but the thing with Jacob Murphy is he gets the old golf clubs out, doesn't he? As soon as
Hmm.
he's on the right, swing, 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 and that's what we tend to do. It's only on Gordon's. If you got Barnes, it's the 1-2, and then the ball comes through. If it's Gordon, he tries to go round or link 1-2, running
Yeah.
beyond. So the
It-
right hand side is cross, 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 cross. Do you
but
know what I
that, but
mean?
that's the thing with Murphy. Murphy is eventually going to be phased out by Alanga, isn't he? So
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
yeah, I
I'm
mean,
But
still on the fence about the one. I still think Murphy's better than him at the moment.
Murphy, I think Murphy's got to start 100%. I
Murphy
don't
will
think he's.
start initially, yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think he's. Yeah. I think in due time, I think Elanga will take his position, but I do
yeah.
think Murphy deserves to start. I think he's been phenomenal,
Do you think
but
Murphy's
he's too
better?
inconsistent.
Is he better than
No,
Alanga?
I think he's got more to his game
yeah, I think he's got more
because
tools.
Elanga's relies on his pace, bro.
Yeah.
If you see what I'm saying, if you look at Jacob Murphy, when he concentrates, he's got a good pass on him, a good cross,
Yeah.
and he can
Yeah.
bang a shot. He's more
And he
likely
uses
to
left
get
foot.
create or get a goal out of nowhere than
No,
Elanga.
but
Elanga
Yeah.
needs the ball to dribble, essentially.
Elanga can use his left foot better than Murphy, surely.
No, I haven't seen that.
No?
We've seen Murphy score goals with his left foot from nowhere. Like, how did he do
So
that?
is Alanga, bro.
But
So is Alanga, bro.
No, not like
as
Murphy
well.
goals. Murphy scored some crackers with his left foot outside the box. I think I remember Ipswich, or was it Ipswich? Oh, I don't remember, but I remember he just hit it. I was like, raw, like with his left foot. I think
I've
it was
seen.
a
I
it was
think.
a
I think
corner.
I've seen him curl one. I think I've seen him curl one with his left foot, bro. I don't remember
Uh,
scoring a bagger with his left foot. Because
no, I
Ipswich,
think it was
Hey,
Ipswich, the one
shout
he's
out,
rocking it with his
shout out
right
to
foot.
that Ipswich game with the back heel, by the way. How
Yeah.
that
yeah.
didn't make goal of the season, I don't know.
That's what I mean. Murphy's unorthodox. Like you just don't know what he's gonna do. But the problem is just that it's inconsistent. That's with me.
Well, like
But
Kenny
I
said,
think in due time, Elanga will take his spot.
he doesn't concentrate in the corner. Like,
So true. He
Connor,
nearly missed that chance. Do you remember the one where Cher hit the crossbar?
yeah,
And I
exactly.
thought,
That's
what
it.
are you doing, mate? And
Because
he nearly missed it.
because he had time to think. When Murphy has time to think, he don't think. You know what I mean? So
Oh
it's just
my
like
Yeah.
it's one of
gosh.
them. But do you think we'll get if we got time to get a class striker in? Well, the options are running out, so I don't think so. I don't. I what would you class as a class striker?
Yeah.
Boniface.
Where is he?
Leverkusen.
Leverkusen still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see that.
But does he have any ACLs? I think he lost
He's
both his ACLs.
he's had a serious injury that he
Yeah,
came
okay.
back from, yeah.
Okay.
But he's still young enough. He's still young enough.
He's Nigerian though, so you can't trust the age. Can't trust the age.
Obviously, Martin's still about 30,
I mean,
isn't
Martin's about two.
he? But listen, those in the chat, smash the like button. Keep them coming, keep the comments coming, and that. But yeah, listen. That being said, right? So obviously we signed Chow, we signed Ramsdale, we signed Elanga, and we
Elanga,
signed
yeah.
Ramsey, right? So say we get Vissa, right? And all right. All right, say we keep Isak or get replaced with Isak, right? I'm not saying where we finish, don't say where we finish on that, but what are your expectations for the season in terms of the competitions? Are you expecting a good league finish with a good run in the Champions League, like qualifying from the knockout, the group stages, and a run in both cups? Like, have we got the depth for that, or are we sacrificing the League Cup and having a run in the FA Cup? What's your expectations, or what would you be content with, Yinks?
Content. All I want to see is 11 players play their heart out every week in, week out, personally, and that for me, that's the most important thing. Where I want to finish, I want us to win the league. But we need to hit Champions League again. It is where it is, and enough time. has been put in place for us to be able to build a platform for us to consistently get Champions League. Champions League. Europe to me is not good enough, and if we don't get Champions League, then the likelihood of us losing your Tonali's, your Botmans, significantly increases. Like, we're already seeing the problem with Isaac at this moment in time, and we've got Champions League. Let us lose it. I guarantee you, the way PSR has held us back, we're going to see these teams like your Uniteds and this that willingly try to take players off us. So I think Champions League is essential. The FA Cup, I would love the FA Cup, Carling Cup. I love our running all the competitions as long as we put our heart out, our players play their heart out, and we're going for the win. Then, like, I expect a quadruple.
Huh?
Boy,
That is the way it is, man.
big yinks for DOF.
But Jeffrey, do you think, given what I just said about who we've got and who if we hypothetically, right, do you think that's enough squad depth to challenge on all four fronts?
No.
I think in defence, yes. In midfield, I still feel like we need some, maybe another acquisition. I think out wide we're fine. Up front, obviously, a problem.
Okay, so before I get to you, Jefferson, Ben said, D-man, sorry we're getting smashed in the Champions League, especially without a solid striker. Just having Vissa isn't going to take us far. I don't even see us making top four the way our clubs have improved the squad. But fair enough. But I'm talking about if Isak stays off, we do get an adequate replacement as well, because we know we need two strikers. So just humour me for a little bit. What do you think, Jefferson?
The issue is the style. And this goes back to pre-season. When people are saying pre-season doesn't matter, it does matter, because Eddie had a legitimate chance in 6 games, as well as the month training camp in Austria or whatever it was, to experiment and try different things, as well as us recruiting a different profile player. So I don't know how many games we'll end up playing in the season. Let's just say it's 50-55.
Yeah.
Let's just say we go further in one of the cups. So depending on injuries and suspensions, with that robust running style, that is going to kill us. And the last time we did it, it killed us. We just don't have the squad for that style. So to combat that, we needed to have switched to a more possession-based style. And I would rather lose trying to play football in a different way and back the manager and say, you know what, at least he's trying something, rather than rinse and repeat. And it's more than likely that the team might struggle to cope. I mean, hopefully we can ring the changes. Bunts can help a little bit with that sort of stuff. But I do worry about the Champions League particularly, because we're in pot 4. So arguably, unless we get another pot 4 team and maybe pot 3, we got a chance of beating those teams. The pot 1 and 2 teams are going to be tough. So I'm going to be the opposite to Big Yinks, and I'm going to say, as we know, the league is the bread and butter. So I want us to focus on the league, obviously, but the Champions League. We've got to get to the last 16 for me, for it to not be a failure. I don't care about the cups this year. We've proved it last year. Let's sack it off this year. Go all in on Champions League. See where we get in the league. Then, obviously next season, again, boost our squad so that we can legitimately challenge on all 4 fronts.
Okay. Well, Adrian said,
I want to add quickly. We've got a lot of players who can have breakout years this year. Like I've already said Tino. We've also got Botman that can have a breakout year. Hopefully he stays fit. We've also got Miley out there that could come and show something that we've not seen before. And we've got Elanga this year. If he has a breakout year and does better than what he did last year, then boy, we've got a player on our hands. So I think there's a lot to be optimistic about. Obviously, pre-season, that was.
Yeah, we're not going to worry about pre-season, man. Don't worry about it. That's just a warm-up thing, man. But Adrian did say we've got to prioritise the league and the Champions League, which I agree with. I think, obviously, like Jefferson said, the league is our bread and butter. But we do want to see. I want to see a better campaign in the Champions League than we did last time. One win wasn't satisfactory, right? I know, we all hyped about the win over PSG and that, but we didn't do well. We didn't do well. Yes, we were unlucky in the return against them, but we need to be seen as see what Villa did, right? Villa got to the quarterfinals. I'm not saying we should go that far, but we should. I want to see us progress from the group stages. Yeah, show that we've learned from our mistakes. Like you said, the manager needs to learn from mistakes. Is he capable of playing a different style of football? Time will tell. Maybe with the introduction of the likes of Ramsdale, Chow, Ramsey, and even Vissam, that might change things a little bit. I'd like to see an evolution in his style of play. It's just because especially when we're coming up against the low block as well. Are we gonna?
D-Man,
Yeah,
how does it work in terms of registration? Because I think the League Cup, and I know it sounds bad because we're the holders, I think we're more likely to trial youth in the League Cup. So I'd like to see the kids that made the preseason squads play more in the League Cup. So your Leo Shahars and have like Miley as the captain, for example. Like
right.
literally rest Bruno, rest Tonali. Like I don't want to see them on the pitch. Are we able to play them, or do they have to be registered in the cup in the league? How does it work? Do you know?
I have no idea, but like you said, William said that I want to see the youngsters come up and get a
Yeah,
look early on in the
there we
cup.
go. There
Um,
we go.
so I mean, I think it must be possible because you've seen how bigger teams do that as well. So it must be possible. Ben said we're only a few injuries away from Korean lads starting as a striker. Speaking of him, though, do you want to see him included in the first team squad for the season, or do you
I
think we
think
should
he's
let him run?
overrated. I think people are overrating him. He's not done much, if I have to be quite frank and honest. He's done one or two skills. He shows that he has ability in terms of his agility and able to like a bit of skill, but his end product is woeful. And he's not again. He's not done enough for me to be like, oh my, like Max Dowman, I think Doxman, whatever, the Arsenal
Yeah,
one, the 15
yeah,
year old.
yeah.
Yeah, he will make your mouth drop. But the Korean lad hasn't done anything but just shimmy the ball and just like fake cross and beat the man, because all the teams are used to us are used to Barnes and Gordon just getting the ball and passing it back. He just faked it and then and then crossed it in. So he's not done enough. But why not? But he's not done enough, and he's not as good as people are making him out to be, from what I've seen.
Okay. Well, Scan said we're not built for a game every 3 days. Look for the FA Cup win. I know you mentioned Max Dowman, right? Just quickly, side note. Obviously, Liverpool got their own they bought their own youngster from Chelsea,
Yeah.
that Rio, whatever his last name is. If you was to pick, who excites you more, him or Dowman at this present time?
I haven't seen much of
Haven't
Rio, but Dalman's 15. He dropped. Joe Linton had to kick
seen.
his leg. Like,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Linton
Dalman's,
struggled.
yeah,
That's not much because Joe
yeah.
Linton kicks everybody's legs. You know what I mean? So just like,
He
but
left everyone in the dust.
But personally,
Yeah.
I think that Rio looks more exciting. Like he looks fearless, bro. Like I'm talking because they're talking about Liverpool are not looking to strengthen in that position because it will start his development in the first team. So
Wow.
I think he looks serious. He does look serious. And another one from Chelsea's academy, like they just keep reading them off. But
Problem, man.
Well, we heard this about
Problem.
Rhian Brewster, and I remember I got cussed because, you know, boy, I remember saying he was going to be the next big thing and all that, and didn't quite work out. But
yeah.
let's
Um,
see, let's see.
Adrian said, I think there's going to be some surprises regarding formations and game plans. We were stung so badly in our last campaign in the
I hope
Champions
so,
League.
mate. I hope
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I think you might be onto something. So Ben said 4-4-3. 4-4-3.
Sneak an extra man in there.
Oh, good lord. But yeah, William said that I want to see a better second half adjustments. We came out halftime looking lost too many times. That's true. And what I also want to see is also when we make the changes, whenever we made the changes, the level dropped significantly. Yeah.
Mm,
So hopefully with the additions that we've got now, they should at least maintain the level, you know what I mean, or maybe improve it when they come on and impact the game and stuff. So I think Ramsey could be one that could impact from the bench quite a bit, to be fair. But time will tell. Time will tell. All right, but given that now, Abe says we've got to got to juice the Korean market. Can't be casting off one one of their gems. Fair enough. All right, we're gonna start with we're gonna go to the predictions for the campaign now because obviously the Premier League starts tomorrow. Liverpool against Bournemouth. Now, before we get to nitty gritty, that they're sticking with Newcastle, right? Individually, where do you see them finishing? Forget everybody else for the moment. Where do you see best case scenario? Where do you see Newcastle United finishing? And we'll put that to the chat as well. Where do you see them finishing? Honestly. None of this winning the league talk kicks, but like honestly, bro.
Oh my gosh.
I would say I think highest third, lowest 12th.
Huh? Third.
Yeah,
Lowest 12. Oh,
lowest
that's
12th.
joke.
It's gonna be. I feel like the next year is this season. Apologies. I think teams are sussing each other out. I just believe that like momentum and form is going to be so important. Like there's no, I think we're moving away from actually the Premier League is evolving away from when you just had like four amazing players and four amazing teams, sorry, and the rest. Now like it all depends on the style of play. There's so many different variables that I think a lot of us are going to be shocked at how it's going to end.
I don't know what's more
Personally.
outlandish, whether he's the third or the 12th, bro. Like, I'm not sure which one's more surprising. Like,
I
because I
think
don't think
if things don't go well, we'll finish 12th. I think if everything clicks, we could finish third.
you think on our worst day there's 11 teams better than us in the Premier League over
I
38
feel like
games.
there's I think there's more than enough teams that could put a strategy that will find difficult to break down. Yeah,
Wow.
I've seen too many managers outmanage Eddie Howe, and that's I'm not being honest. So and I feel like a poor form will, and especially what we're going through as a club, we could easily finish as far as 12.
Okay, so hold that thought for a minute because I want you to think about the 11 teams that you think is going to finish above us, that could finish above us, right? Not the answer just yet, okay? But before I go to Jefferson, the comments, there's been a few comments in there. So Ash said fourth, Ben said maximum seventh, as bad as 11th, not too far off you weeks. But Adrian, if we can get third, we can get second. Interesting. All right. William said ceiling fifth. Lord life. Okay, fair enough. Win fifth. Okay. Jefferson, what's your thoughts? Gary
Remember,
sixth.
just remembering, if there was a title, I won it because I got the prediction right last year. Yeah, just saying. Yeah. All right, all right. That's I'm probably going to lose that right now. But I've got us anywhere between fifth and eighth. And I'm just going to go for it. Depend. I think with Isak, sixth. Without Isak, seventh.
Okay. I've got us finishing fifth. I think we're gonna. Win said if you get two strikers, top three. Okay. I don't think we have enough to break into the top four, which we'll get to anyway. I don't see a world where we finish in the bottom half of the table. So that rules out 11th or 12th. I just don't see it. I think over 38 games, Eddie will figure it out. We go on these runs throughout the season, one or two good runs, and I think that'll be enough, more than enough to see us at least 7th. Brant said 7th for me. I think even if Isak comes back, he's not going to play the same. Fair enough. Kenny says 9th. Okay. All right. Let's get to the nitty gritty then. Yeah. Let's start with, I say the easiest thing. Let's start. Genius has said 4th to the 7th as things stand. Okay, fair enough. Let's go with champions. Yeah. Who have you got as champions? I'll start with you, Jefferson.
I kept chopping and changing, man. Last time I mugged myself off with Arsenal, so I ain't doing that again. Sorry, Cav, mate. I've gone Liverpool to retain.
Yeah.
Do we need to say dark horses or no? Just who's finishing first?
No, just who's finishing first for now? Who's
Okay,
finishing
cool.
first? Yeah. So you think Liverpool? Okay. Yinks, are you saying?
I've got Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Do you want to explain that one?
Momentum, the brotherhood aspect of it as well. A lot of these players came from being 15th with one another, so they understand the grit of going through a losing spell, and they keep improving year on year. I feel like they've now probably sussed out how to play against teams that have a game plan against them. And I feel like they're going to be raring to go, especially winning the Club World Cup. I think that was bigger than what we anticipated to be. It's going to give them a lot of confidence. So I think Chelsea can win it personally.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the comments in a minute, but I think I'm actually gonna go Arsenal. Yeah, again.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Straight.
Simply because, right? Like, obviously, I think they've got a lot of pressure on them to win it anyway. But I think, and this is me assuming that Isak doesn't go to Liverpool, by the way. But I just think that the balance of their squad, they've got just about right. I think, yeah, they've got a very good goalkeeper. We know the defense is good anyway, right? The addition of Zubimendi midfield,
Mm.
I think is key because I think that allows Rice, that frees up Rice a bit more. I think if you can see the best of Odegaard as well, I think he can't play as bad as he did last season. I just don't see it, right? Oh, also in defense, they've got that Mascara guy as cover, and he looks all
Yeah,
right,
he's a
right?
prospect. Yeah,
Right, yeah. So then you've got the attack now, right? So before we get to Jokeres, remember Saka had an injury hit season, and we know the numbers that Saka's capable of putting up season on season on season when he's fit. Plus the addition of Madueke who can cover for Saka, so Saka doesn't have to play every single game. Yeah. Then you've got all right, the left hand side, not great, but essentially we've all said Arsenal is screaming out for a number 9. They now have a number 9. Now it's all dependent on how well Jokeres adapts to the Premier League, but I personally think he's going to have a good season as long as Arsenal don't do adapt to his style of play, which I think they will, because I think they're capable of so many styles. Arsenal, I think they can do it, and I just think they've got enough to get in the high 80s in terms of points. I don't think 90 points wins the league this season because it's so equally matched in terms of the competition. I don't think 90 points wins the league this season. But
you
I
think
think
what 85 or something?
yeah, between 85 and 90. But I think more 85 side. I think that would be sufficient. But I think they'll get it done. I think they will get it done. It'll be very close. And don't go wrong, if Isak signs for Liverpool, then that might change my opinion. But with Liverpool, I still don't think that midfield looks 100% right. I think they can be got in transition. And I'm not going to buy into the whole Van Dijk losing his legs and stuff like that, whatever. But I do think with their fullbacks needing time to adapt to the style, not only their style of play, but Frimpong to the league itself, I think that might be their Achilles heel as well. They're very, very attack minded, those fullbacks, right? Defensively, I'm still not too sure, especially about Frimpong. Yeah, so I'm not sure.
And they were heavily reliant on Salah last year, weren't they? It's
Right.
like
It's going to be interesting with Salah
almost
as well
one-man
because
team at times.
yeah, but the good thing about that they've now got Vert, who I think is going to have a very good season, and Ekatike. So if you saw in the Community Shield, Salah hardly touched the ball. All the play was going centrally, yeah, or to the left, where Ekatike's movement, you know what I mean? He can drift to the left, you know, and cause problems there. Centrally, you've got Verts, you know, spraying balls here, there, and everywhere. Salah was very ineffective. Salah doesn't have many touches per game. You know, he's just a killer in front of goal and stuff. But it seemed to me that they were kind of like shifting away from that a bit more with this new setup that they've got. And I don't know, but we'll see. It's going to be very close. It's going to be very close.
I heard a
And
funny stat
AFCON as
actually today.
well.
Sorry.
So I just realised AFCON as well. So he's going to be gone, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. So you
I,
say?
I heard a funny stat actually about Gyökeres. Allegedly, all his goals I think
I know
last
you could say. I
season
know you're going to say.
mainly came against the bottom 10 teams.
Yeah.
He scored a lot of penalties, and he may not be as clinical as what we think he's been made out to be or made out to be. So I think I have to hold my judgment with Gyökeres, but we'll see. We'll see.
We will see, but the thing is, where you're playing in a team like Arsenal, who will create a lot of opportunities, and also it allows Havertz to drop back and play behind him. Yeah, so Havertz doesn't have that reliability to be that out and out number 9, and he can play it now and again. But I think you'll see the best of Havertz this season as well. So
And Zubimendi and Marina have played together before with Sociedad, because I actually think there'll be games where Odegaard don't even make the team.
right,
You know, and Norgard, captain of Brentford, again, we'll talk about that later. Very good player. I think he had the second highest defensive stats in the Premier League, and he's
okay.
like their sub. Like he'd walk into many people's teams as a defensive midfielder.
Okay. Well, let's go to some of these comments. Well, Kenny says City are going to win it. Let's stick on that for a minute because we won't talk about we think they're finished. But do you think City are capable of winning the league? We know how they performed last season. Rodri was injured for the whole season. He's had another setback back after the international break. They've made a few good signings, especially this Reinders guy. I think he's going to go under the radar, but I think people are going to start talking about it a lot more as the season goes on. Haaland, 22 league goals last season, but Haaland is Haaland. He's going to continue to score goals. Do you think there's a chance, a realistic chance of them winning the title? Anyone?
Yeah, definitely a realistic chance.
Yeah.
I think they're going to entertain, and I think they're probably going to score the most goals. But I just think defensively, no.
Okay. Gary says Liverpool to win it, which they are the overriding favourites. Ben says is Liverpool, City, Chelsea, and Arsenal the top four. I think they're most people's top four, but in different orders. It's interesting. Ash says Arsenal. He agrees with myself. Who else we got there? Ben says Chelsea will battle Liverpool for the top spot. Okay.
Chelsea are my dark horses, so I agree with Big Yinks' points.
Okay. Liverpool, too many players to integrate. Can't spell the word, but many players to gel in the same team at the same time. Sorry. So, yeah, interesting. They made quite a few signings. Brant said City to win, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal fourth. Interesting.
Lego Head will be fuming.
He said he reckons Arsenal fall off this season. Okay, big up Kante in the building. Big up.
Big up.
Gary says Rice as skipper gives them more of a chance. Odegaard can't perform as skipper, and I agree with that. And I don't know if you lot still think Tony Adams was screaming for Odegaard to let go of the captain and give it to Declan Rice. And I think there's more shouts for that. Odegaard doesn't strike me as a captain. He doesn't. You know what I mean? He doesn't strike me as the leader. Whereas Declan Rice, you know what I mean? I think that's one of his qualities. And I think he's the captain without being the captain. You know what I mean?
Driving force, isn't he?
Yeah,
in the team?
yeah. And William said, when push comes to stuff, Arsenal turns soft.
That's true.
Interesting.
A bit of Roy Keane there, isn't it? Like,
baby. He said, Connor said Chelsea going to be on smoke this season.
Agreed.
A lot of people think.
Just to again talking about Chelsea. So not only I like what Big Yinks are talking about their journey. They've got a majority of the players from the struggle. Then the players that Pochettino improved, and then they got taken to the next level. You've got players that they've been very clever with. Andre Santos, who I was going on about for ages, that Ashworth recommended, and we know who said no to that.
He recommended him
for Chelsea. Yeah, mate, Peroni, Andre Santos, and I forgot the third guy, Redondo. Ashworth tried to get us those players. We didn't sign them, obviously. This was about 2 years ago. So he went on loan for Chelsea, went on loan to Strasbourg. He was captain of, I think, Brazil under-20s. And he's done well in France. Now he's come over to be the main team squad. And then as for Willian Esteval, we could be talking about a future star here. I mean, he could set the Premier League alight. And that's to add to the talent they've already got.
So just to tell you, Ornstein did report that Brentford have reached an agreement with Bournemouth to sign Otara. Deal for the 23-year-old winger. Club record 37 million plus 5 million add-ons. Kino Faso. Interesting, 37 million plus 5 million add-ons. I wonder how much.
They're literally we're literally paying for that signing.
Exactly, yeah. So push for an authorised to travel on Friday. So it looks like Rissa could be here tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see. NUFC Predator, big up. He said, if Arsenal don't start well, Arteta will be under massive pressure. The fans wanted a striker, now they have one. So if they fail, Arteta will be hounded out. And I agree with that.
No excuses.
Yeah. Gary said 84 to 85 points will win the league. But yeah, it's all right. So Predator said Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. I'll see a few more shots for City, yeah, and for Arsenal fourth as well. So it's like either Arsenal win it or they finish fourth. but Kante Demon has it down with Trey or GST. The only difference is my locks are real, mate. My locks are real. Adrian made a good point. He said a lot of traditional title challenges are resetting. Could be for the wild card. I think that's why people think Chelsea are in there. I can't think anyone else really, realistically. Ginesta said, I think Liverpool got too much quality even without Isak. Teams can no longer double up on Salah. Now they got Verts between the lines. Interesting.
I like what I think. What I haven't watched much of Spurs, but like this is the Premier League, bro. Like this is a different kettle of fish. Like you may have done well in Germany, don't mean you do well in the Premier League. So until I see him touch a ball regularly, I'm gonna hold my judgment. We'll see. The money just because he's worth 100 million. Ask Jadon Sancho. It's a different work out here.
Talk about him versus Musiala, right? Who was better? And when I've watched Musiala, I think he's a killer. I think he's amazing. So is he actually as good as him, or
wait? I don't know. I haven't seen. We'll wait and see. I've not seen much of him for me to even have a judgment. But the Premier League's a different ball game. There's certain men that come here and they're not the same man that they were previously. So
okay.
We'll wait and see.
I'm not going to read out that comment from Gary. I'll let you not read it yourself. But
Gary, how did last night go, mate? How did last night go? You know what I mean, mate.
William said no one is talking about them, but manure commanders in Man United could be a problem, challenging for you. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Manchester United because they're not winning the league. But yeah, you made a good point. All right, while we're there, then let's talk about the rest of the top four. Do you think it's the same teams? Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea in different orders? Are those your four that you think they're going to be in the top four?
Logically, yeah, but I feel like next season is going to be a funny season, man. I just genuinely feel like the talent level is so high, and the way that this low block is being deployed, that a lot of people are going to be shocked where they're going to finish. So logically, yeah, I would say they'll be the top four, but I think it's going to be a funny season, very funny season.
Okay. So do you have your top four in order?
Yeah. So I'll go Chelsea first, Liverpool third. Liverpool second. Sorry, Newcastle third, and Man City fourth.
Okay, Jefferson.
No one can call you negative after that, Big Yinks. You know what I'm saying?
They can't.
Wow.
They can't.
That third will feel like winning the Premier League title, mate. You know what I'm saying?
I think we got it.
You never know. I've gone Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, City.
Okay, I've gone Arsenal, Liverpool, City, then Chelsea. All right, so that's top four. Have you got a fifth to eighth, the next four teams? Because I've got a few teams there. I'll start with this one. I've got Newcastle finishing fifth, which I mentioned. I've got Man United, Spurs, and Villa. Yeah, so let's talk about Man United and Spurs quickly, right? Obviously, Manchester United, we know what they've done in terms of their attack, Cunha and Bremo. Now there's talks of links to Baleba as well. If they do get Baleba, right, who's a phenomenal player, how did that influence their season, do you think?
It's a difficult one. I personally think the problem with United is their style of play. When you've watched how they've lost, there's a problem fundamentally with how they play. So they can put players to fill in the position, but don't mean that it will help their style of play. So I think Amarim's got a tough job in actually ensuring that they are very, very compact as a squad, because they get hit on the transition too many times by lesser teams, and that's why they lose a lot. They concede a lot of goals. So again, on paper, phenomenal team. However, if they can strategically line up well defensively as a team, then they could be a problem. They can easily hit the top four, but it just depends. So it's just, again, as I said, it's gonna be such a difficult season next year. Hence why I'll put them fifth and Arsenal sixth.
Okay, so who do you think is more under pressure, Amarim or Arteta?
Arteta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of money he spent, the time. They've given him everything they can give him, and I think the fans are on their last. The fans have given all they can do now. All the jokes that they've taken is too much now. Certain man still got tears from from last season. So yeah, Arteta is under immense pressure.
Okay, Jefferson, what's your thoughts on Manchester United?
I just had a quick look. They're actually undefeated in pre-season. And they won the Premier League Series Cup. I remember when we were in that, we did struggle, didn't we?
Yeah,
We didn't win that tournament, so they actually won that tournament. Fair play to them. So they're coming into the league in somewhat better form than they ended the league. As we know, their attack now is a top attack. Obviously, high pressure on Sesko to deliver, but they don't even need Sesko. The two they got on the side is
yeah,
just goals, goals, goals. So, and I think they've brought through. Is it Heaven? They got Heaven from
good player.
Arsenal. He's meant to be
Yeah,
a
he's
very good prospect
a very good player.
in defence.
Yeah,
Dorgu looked decent last
he was
season, just
very good.
needed more games. Amad Diallo's back from injury. We know what Bruno Fernandes can do. As annoying as he is a special player. So for them, I think it's about keeping the likes of Lenny Yoro fit. If they can get a believer, like you said, someone that's really, because we know the problem is that narrow four. That if the wingers
Mm,
go forward, you got the two, they're exposed. Having someone with like Belieber with that amount of physicality and
yeah,
power could be
yeah,
the stopgap for them
yeah.
to allow them to excel. So
Right,
I've got them down for, they're definitely in my top 8. Okay, I know what I've got them down as, but yeah,
right. Okay, so me personally, I think obviously they'll have a better season than last season, no doubt. They're not going to be that rubbish. I think the attack looks good on paper. It's been interesting how they link up. I know you used to talk about preseason and stuff, but I'm not really going to take that as a marker because I've seen before teams do well in preseason and flop during the season. So it is what it is. But that's something to build on. I agree. Sesko, listen, I know we lost out to them for Sesko, and I'm not hating, but I do think the price is mad. But it is Man United; they can afford it, whatever. It'd be interesting to see how many goals he does and how he acclimatizes to the Premier League. If he can settle down quickly, I think that front three could be a serious problem. The defense, I think the defense is good anyway. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the defense isn't a problem. Forget the goalkeeper. I think the goalkeeper is there's a huge black mark against his name. Yeah, but the back line, I think the back,
Punished.
yeah, that's right. The back line though, I think is quite solid. Right now, in defense centre back pairings, I think they've got enough there. Like I said, you talk about Lenny Euro, you've got the lit there. Even Maguire was playing at a decent level, and he has done for the last couple of seasons, to be fair. And the fullbacks,
Nasraoui and that.
Belieber, if they could get Belieber, that's a huge upgrade on their midfield because I was at the Amex when we played them, and he bullied Tonali and Bruno. Like
Yeah,
it was he was running that midfield rack. I think he ran Liverpool racket as well when he played against them. But he's a serious player. The two issues I have with them is one, Bruno Fernandes. I do not think he's that useful to that team anymore, especially in the formation that they play.
Mm.
I think they could do without him, but because obviously he rejected the Saudi move, I think he's their captain. He's going to be in that team, and I think it might be to their detriment. I think,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
think when you say Bruno Fernandes, it's like he has so many different tools, but he doesn't know when to use it. And
right,
sometimes, oh, it's amazing, but his fundamental skills is shit. Like in terms of just tracking a player or just doing the fundamental stuff, he's so crap at. But the things that he's elite at, or the
yeah.
elite stuff, he does okay. So it's just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah. And also, this formation that Amrin plays has to work. Yeah,
yeah,
because he's got no plan B. Yeah. And he's been stubborn with it. Even when things were going wrong for them, his thing was, I need to get them used to it now. So next season, there's no surprises and it starts to flow. So he's got no excuse. This formation has to work for him. And if it doesn't, I think he could be gone sooner rather than
Remember,
later.
there's one thing we're forgetting, which significantly helped us last season. No Europe.
No, that's a big plus. That's a big plus for them.
A massive plus for them. It's
It
like a
is.
plus 8, 9 points there
But
because
that's why there's no excuses.
they're going to be fresher, aren't they? They're going
Yes.
to.
So
Pressure.
they have to deliver. They have to deliver in the league, especially. They have to deliver. They have to be. I think the expectation will be to get into the European places. Come to that. I'm talking top six. I don't think seven.
Win is actually. Win has sent me his predictions. He's actually got Liverpool champions, followed by Chelsea runners up, Man City third, Newcastle in fourth, Arsenal fifth. But he's actually got Man United in sixth.
Okay. Okay. Well, similarly, then Spurs. What's your thoughts on Spurs? The business that they've done. We saw how they performed in the Super Cup yesterday. Should they be optimistic, or do you think they need quite a bit more if they're going to be? I'm talking about challenge for Champions League place, because they're not winning the league, but Champions League place. How serious a contender are they?
I think we're all in the same boat. Us, Spurs, Villas, to a degree. Again, our trajectory should be top six. However, we could easily fall to top, top eight, or even to top 10, or to stay in the bottom, the top half of the Premiership. So, I think recruitment wise, they haven't done the best job. But again, we're all in the same portal, so all in the same in the same place in terms of the talent we're trying to identify. Um, I don't know. I hate Spurs personally. I hate them with passion. So I want them to get relegated. But if I had to be logical, hopefully they could. I think I've got them eighth.
Okay, Jefferson.
I think the manager again gives him an extra 5-10 points because I rate Thomas Frank. I think he's quality. And I think his teams have always been hard to beat. So I think compared to how porous they were under Ange, they should get better defensively. Now, I remember Win breaking the news yesterday that Spurs had chucked it, but it looks like they gave it a good go. So, that springs a surprise on anyone that they can reach that level where they're literally 2-0 up against the best team in the world, but very Spursy. I think the key for them is keeping certain players fit. It's evident that Romero is a leader for them. Vicario is solid in goal. So again, building from the back. Pedro Porro is like so important for them as well. But that gap there from Madison, I mentioned to Big Yinks earlier today. I think it's a big season for Lucas Bergval now to step out the shadows. I remember watching him against us when we beat them 2-1, and yeah, he had a very good first half. Was it first half or second half? Can't remember now. And then I think it was first half. And then when they took him off, that's when we started to dominate proceedings. So
Mm.
It's
he can
good.
play.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. You mentioned Bergwijn, but they're looking at Eze, and it looks like it's strong links to him. They're going to make a bid, and he's wants to join, or he's interested in joining. So if they get him, maybe that doesn't that stunt Bergwijn's playing time. I don't know, but like I said, Thomas Frank is a good manager, very underrated, I think, and I think he will excel at Spurs. Looking at the Super Cup, they're probably the better team for 85 minutes against PSG. Bar Dembele, I think, had a great game, but they, you know, they tired in the last 5 minutes. PSG stepped it up and got the 2 goals to take it to a penalty shootout. But they were unlucky. I think Spurs can take some encouragement from that performance, especially the way they set up. Thomas Frank set them up. I thought he got the game plan very well, executed very well. You talked about Romero. He's now their captain because there was talk to him of leaving in the summer. So for him to be a captain, he must believe in the project.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got Paulinho in as well, which I think is a good buy. I still think they need a bit more, but do you think they're more equipped, given the fact that they've got a brand new manager who's got no European experience, but they've got a decent squad? Do you think they're more equipped to Champions League football than we are?
Wow. Uh,
Well, they've got the basis of a squad, isn't it? Because remember, they've been recruiting over certain periods, isn't it?
Mm.
So they've been able to build up like a base. Like you look at players that they've got like Kulusevski and Bentancur. For me, they get in our team, both of them. I would
I
put
wouldn't agree with that.
Kulusevski over Gordon. I think Kulusevski's a more talented player. And
Yeah, no,
for me,
Gordon. Yeah.
Bentancur is the profile of player we need. Someone who moves on the half turn and can release the ball. He can, there are similarities and crossovers with Tonali, but I don't think he has as much energy as Tonali. He's got as
Who
much
Yeah.
who do you
tenacity.
prefer in the team? If we Bentancur or Tonali?
Tonali.
Oh, Tonali all day, but I
Okay.
would
Yeah.
I would I would play Bentancur over Joe Linton.
Okay.
But they've got players like that already in their squad, if that makes sense. So it
Yeah.
shows they've built recruitment over time. Again, Vicario, but they've got Kinski who came in and did quite well in goals. They've actually got two good keepers and things like that.
And I think that's a prime example of when you're I say an established Champions League team, because there was a period of time when Tottenham were in the Champions
Yeah.
League year after year after year, and we all know about Daniel Levy's business acumen as well, and this new stadium and whatnot. They put that all together. They can outspend us, you know what I mean, by a long shot.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. All right, so let's talk about the relegation spots, right? Because looking at other podcasts and other the media, a lot of people expect the same three that came up to go down like they did
Oh wait,
last
hold
season.
on, hold on.
Oh
I
God.
could be wrong. Did we actually say who was going to be Europa League and Conference League?
Oh, so I gave mine. I gave mine. What was yours then?
Uh, I've gone for Villa and Spurs, 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
Newcastle Conference League, but I will switch it around. If we have Isak, I'd put us 6th, and Spurs 7th.
You
Okay.
think Villa gonna match work this year like that?
No.
Yeah, because of the coach. Number one, the coach, but number two, they've already got. Like, I think we're forgetting the players they have. Even players like Emi Buendia's come back. It's like, oh, I forgot about him. Like, they've got players.
I just don't think they've got enough of a squad. The fact they haven't really added to the squad, they've kind of lost players. I just don't. I think I'm not saying it's going to go stale, but I just don't think they're gonna. I think it's going to be too much for them. I think it's going to be too much for them because they've got Thursday night football, and
Europa League, yeah.
yeah, I think that could be quite taxing on them. I think,
And
but
to be fair, they've regressed. Losing Duran from their squad from last season, they've kind of like regressed. I think they're gonna find it quite difficult this season.
I've
I
heard they're
think
gonna buy
maybe.
Asensio. That's what I've heard. They're gonna use the Rams. I mean, I've heard rumors they're not gonna spend, but I've also
Yeah.
heard they're
yeah,
gonna use that money to
essentially,
buy Asensio because apparently it's very cheap, like
yeah.
18, 20 million or something like
Obviously,
that.
and he was there, second half of the season as well. So
Yeah.
to me, that's not a big improvement because that's what they were last season. If that makes sense. So they talk about Leon Bailey leaving as well,
Yeah.
but we'll see. But I just think they might. Seventh, I think, is the best they could probably hope for. Maybe sixth, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think I think people are being very quiet and coy pertaining to Everton. Like I watched them against Man United. They looked okay. They
Well,
looked very good.
we're going to talk about surprise packages, and they might come
Sorry,
up.
sorry, sorry,
Um,
sorry, sorry,
um,
Really?
sorry.
Adrian said at least D-Man has a finish above Forest this year. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember last year you bet Adrian and you lost.
yeah, I did. Got Kim Cam in the building. We got Kim
Big
Cam.
up King Cam.
All right, let's talk about relegation then, because like I said, a lot of people have the three promoted side to go down. I'm going to start with you, Jinx, because I think me and
Yeah,
Declan might be similar in our predictions. But who've you got relegated?
definitely Burnley. I think Burnley gone. I can't see Burnley staying up. I think Leeds are too organised as an organisation with Red Bull. I can't perceive them going down personally. I think Sunderland. Obviously, I want them gone. But, but they're throwing. They're ready to risk their lives for this. Like they're throwing their kitchen sink at this. You know what I mean? They're looking to want to go. They don't mind going to PSR trouble. So I respect their ambition. I think Wolves are in trouble. Doesn't seem like they've bought any new players. Brentford kind of have regressed as well. Oh, it's a difficult one. I think even Bournemouth might be in a little trouble this year as well. So I'm gonna say the teams I want to go down. I want it to be Burnley, Brentford, and Bournemouth.
Okay, the triple Bs. Okay,
Bournemouth,
The
yeah.
Bs, the triple Bs.
okay.
Hey.
Jefferson, who've you got?
I've gone Brentford because we talked about the loss of Norgard, who was their captain. Obviously, potentially losing Vissar. They've lost to
Hmm.
Buemo. I think who's the defender? Ben Mee. Like they've lost a lot of key players in it. So I think for me, Brentford, and also what's going on? Keith Andrews. set piece coach, no
Yeah,
experience. That's mad. That is suicidal. That is.
cost
So
cutting.
Brentford going down for me. Wolves have gone, despite them having a good manager and Vitor Pereira, they've not replaced the likes of Eight Nori or Cunha, any of the major players that they've lost. Even to some respect, Kilman from the season before, they've not really been replacing the players they've lost. So accumulation of that means they go down, and then obviously Burnley for me.
Okay. Before I go to
I
mine,
nearly said West Ham. I think West Ham are going to
they will
run it
struggle.
real close,
I
man.
think they will
They're
struggle.
I
shit.
don't think so.
They are
I don't think so.
shit. They
I don't.
are shit.
Not the greatest, but
They
I
were
don't think they're going to go
awful.
down.
But they've got Callum Wilson. I bet he scored about 10 to 12 league goals.
Imagine him saving them. Bloody hell.
Kante said Fulham. He said 100% relegation battle. Mark my words. I wouldn't disagree with that.
I knew you wouldn't.
But can I ask a quick question? How much do you feel that AFCON is going to affect this season? Because I think it's going to affect this season.
It's going to affect Sunderland.
Affect a lot of teams. Sunderland, yeah. How bad do you think AFCON will affect a lot of teams?
No, I think it will. Well, I'd have to look at the makeup of the teams, but I think it will have an effect on the teams in the bottom half of the table. Obviously, it could affect us with Vissa, but I don't think the top teams, I think, will be fine. But I think,
Yeah, top teams.
the bottom teams, I think it could be. I don't think some of them have thought this through. You know what I mean? But before I go to my comments, big up Curtis Skinner. He said, big up the 90s, London Mags. This is the channel I've been waiting for. A lot of comments to get spoken by all three of you, man. The channel, this channel, and loaded Maggie's talking about. Big up Curtis.
Yo.
But yeah, I've got Burnley. I think.
Yeah.
Listen, they're very good defensively in the Championship, but I think that's a different kettle of fish when you get to the Premier League because these teams will pick you apart. You've got to be on job for 90 plus minutes, and I'm not sure they can get the job done. And scoring goals will be a problem for them for me.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to see how long Scott Parker lasts in the job because he likes to fall out with owners pretty quickly. So if things are not going his way. I know they've bought a few people, including Kyle Walker, for a bit of experience and stuff like that. I think they've got a striker in as well. But yeah, I just don't think they're going to have enough. I've got Wolves to go down. I think they've lost too many pieces, too many key pieces. Cunha being one of the main ones. Guedes has gone as well. I think it is. They've got Tomato's gone as well. You know, they've lost way too many players.
That was another one. Why didn't we go for either Andre or João Gomez, bro?
Gomez, yeah.
João Gomez would have been the one.
Yeah.
How are we not going for these guys?
Well, listen, we've got our reasons, but it is what it is. We're not going to cry with spilt milk.
Get them next season if they get relegated, innit? I don't care. We'll have to play. Flog Willock.
But yeah, my other one, like you, was Brentford. I've gone for Brentford as well. Again, losing Bremo, losing Norgard, losing me, going to lose Wissa, you know, and they've got, you know, a set piece coach in charge. It just doesn't look good for them. Like I said, I think West Ham will struggle. Although I still think West Ham might make one or two buys before the end of the window, one or two good buys before the end of the window. So they'll be fine, but I just don't think they're going to have a great season. Yeah, I think those are the main teams. Leeds, I think Leeds will stay up by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
Sunderland have made some good buys. I think they've made some decent made some decent
I can't
transfers.
believe Xhaka's there. I still can't believe it.
He's their captain now. He's their captain.
Wow.
So you know what I mean. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. All right.
Very interesting.
So what about the surprise packaging? Oh wait, sorry. Flecken is a big loss too. He's better than they've got Ken. I think Keller's a good keeper, but
I think Keller's good, man. I think Keller's a good keeper, man. Yeah, he done really well for Liverpool.
Gary said Brentford, Wolves, and Burnley. Yeah, same as myself. So
Me too.
So
Bournemouth have lost a lot of players, though. You know, they've made a lot of money, but they've lost a lot of players.
But they've got a good manager.
They've still got too much quality, bro. They've still got the likes of
Clivert, Evan Nilsson.
Yep.
Who else they got? What's his name? Semenyo.
Semenyo, yeah.
Semenyo as well.
You know what I mean? So
and the manager. The manager's good, man.
I mean,
a really good manager. I know you don't rate him, D-man, but listen, he could live on that Rayo Vallecano mid-table finish for the rest of his life. Because
Who?
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, still getting that money.
Who?
Yeah.
Iraola.
No, I do rate him. I rate him highly.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I rate you highly. I rate him. I don't know why you think I don't rate him, bro. I think he's a good manager, bro. I think he's a very good manager. Yeah.
Tempted to ask you a question, but you know.
No, don't bother with it, bro. Don't bother with it.
Big X is like, go on. He's like, go on.
I know what you're thinking, but no. Listen, Kim Camp says Sunderland will not survive the Jurassic Park awaiting big ambition but little substance. Interesting. Is that an emotional take, or you thinking for real? Junior said Andre was available for like 3 windows. They got him for 25 million. Okay. Win said, I thought I'd be unique in predicting Brentford to drop, but I would repair that as a common belief. Yeah, I think there's too many things that get going against them. Leeds have got Longy better than tonight. Look at the stat. I don't start us with don't.
Oh my God! Here we go. I'm telling you, it's his love child. You know, long stuff. I'm telling you, man.
But no, let's talk about surprise packages. Yeah, a lot of people say Chelsea for the title. But you mentioned Everton, Yinks. What's your thoughts on them? Because they've got the new stadium, Moyes at the helm. You know, they've just bought Jack Grealish, which is an interesting one. They lost the Corey, am I right? He's gone.
The Corey's gone, yeah.
Yeah,
he went on a free.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on Everton then?
I just think that their project is highly ambitious at this moment of time, and it seems as if they're trying to push the envelope so they can be a part of the Villas, the Newcastle and Spurs. Again, I don't know if Grealish is going to be the greatest of signings. He only because his last couple of years at City have been horrendous. Like I think he only got 1 goal in a year or something along those lines. So I don't know if he can be the same Grealish of Villa or of Villa at Everton, but it sure is ambition. Their new striker Barry as well. He looks like someone that's adaptable for the Premiership, and also just having Moyes in their helm to lead their projects. I think we could see, and just that low block that they play, they're difficult to break down and difficult to beat. So and that in transition, they do bite. Like they finish their transitions with a shot on goal or a cross, and not a lot of teams have the ability to do that. Even Newcastle. So I do believe that they are, and they have a lot of youngsters as well. They still have the centre back. What's his name? Braithwaite as well, and O'Brien. They still have a lot of young talent out there as well. Yeah, so a lot of young talent out there. So they are one to watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jefferson, who finishes higher, Everton or Crystal Palace?
Well, that's determined on whether they hold on to Eze and to Wharton.
I think Wharton stays for the season. I think he does.
Yeah. I've actually heard rumours of Barcelona interest, by the way. Next season, I think they might come in for him. I've heard they're interested.
Oh.
I think Palace finish above Everton.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Because I think they have to adjust to the style of play. David Moyes, we know, is more direct. You know, we saw how he transformed West Ham, but I think that will take a little bit of time. I know, like, Dyche was direct as well, but I think, you know, it's a little bit different with Moisey. Yeah, I see Palace finishing above them by virtue of they play better football, and I think they're very difficult at home. Palace as well.
Yeah.
Remember, most teams struggle when they move to a new stadium.
I'm gonna say that as well. You all think about, you know, the atmosphere, generating the atmosphere as well in a new stadium. You know, it takes a while for the players to adapt and stuff like that. Because when opposition comes, they don't see it as an away game. They see more like a neutral stadium. So for a while, so it's going to be interesting. Wynn said, "I just think Moyes' pragmatic approach will get Everton more points. Awful to watch, though. Okay, fair enough.
Definitely.
Genius to Brighton. They signed 9 players last summer and hired a 31-year-old unproven manager. They signed some top defenders this summer too, and might be around 5th to 8th.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Brighton. I've not even thought about Brighton yet. They're going to be a problem.
They finished 5. They only finished 5 points behind us. Interesting. Okay. Let's move on to the individuals now. First of all, a quick one. First manager to be sacked. I'm going Keith Andrews.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd say Keith Andrews.
I'm going Graham Potter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think West Ham are struggling, man.
Okay.
Without Jarrod Bowen last season, they stank out the joint.
Yeah. Okay. Which
And
is
now
true.
they've lost Kudus. And Kudus had an off season last season, but he was an important player for them.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And who did you say, Yinks?
I see. I'm with Keith Andrews as well. I was thinking about Scott Parker, but I think he might get some grace from Burnley. But I think Keith Andrews. I think it's an experiment. I don't think Brentford thought this out. I don't even understand if Brentford still has a project with the way that they haven't reinvested to that degree. You know what I mean? Just give us Wissa, for goodness sake. Like, I don't know what they're waiting for.
Okay. Kante's got it against it. Marco Silva, not surprised there. Connor says Eddie Howe.
I knew Connor would say that one. Yo, win, Gary. Yeah, there's some real villains in here. Yeah, they make me look like small fry, mate.
Ain't wasting time.
Rita Pereira, Junior says Rita Pereira, Wolves owner are trigger happy. Talk about owners, right? Forest, yeah, and Marias.
The gangster himself,
Yeah,
Macrianos, sorry.
yeah. How do you see his relationship with Nuno going for the season?
I think they know each other well, man. I feel like they've probably built a bond that we don't see outside of it. I think Macanaros has a lot. He owes a lot to Nuno. If I had to be quite frank and honest, because you remember Forest at one point they got what points deducted, had their own PSR issues, and it was Nuno who brought them. Who's now at least bringing them to European level. And looking at what I heard, they want to get Hutchison. And who else? They got McAtee as well. They're getting a lad from Germany. I can't from France. I can't. That plays for Rennes. So they're really trying to push, move forward, and Nuno's at their home. So I think they must have and also him putting a gun to what's his name, Morgan Gibbs
Morgan
White's
is
head. It just shows you that they're all in it together and they're moving all as one. So.
Well, Gary says like if Nuno doesn't produce with the money that they spent, he's under pressure from the start. Do you think they're going to do well, Forest, this season? Because then they've got Conference League, Europa League. Palace will be happy about that, but they've got Europa League to contend with. We saw how they tailed off at the end of the season when the pressure got to them. You know, they've lost Elanga, they've kept Gibbs White. You know what I mean? Do you see them doing well or do you see them struggling?
I think they need to learn from what Newcastle went through and understand that managers are going to come to outmanage you rather than play you machine for machine. So I think they've got to take into consideration that a lot of teams are going to deploy underhand tactics that whereby they'll have to break them down, and we can see that they don't actually have, or from what I've seen, they don't have the ability or players to do that. So we'll see how good of a manager Nuno really is in this season, because a lot of teams are going to formulate styles and approaches that is going to be very difficult for Forest to break down. And as long as he can be innovative and think outside the box and don't stick to his strict 10 at the back, and then we do a quick counter attack, then they'll do well. But I don't know. It's difficult.
Okay. Jefferson, how you think Forest will do?
Yeah, I mean they've made a couple of good signings in Dan and Doye, who was at Bologna. Obviously, he was part of the team that did well, that got into Champions League, and also they got Igor Jesus, who's meant to be a talent from Botafogo. But I think the key thing to remember is number one that Nuno got Wolves 3 consecutive seventh place finishes, I believe. So he's very well versed at being a top half manager and understanding what that pressure requires. The other thing is his tactics plays into other teams' hands. So
Yeah.
he's very happy to let other teams dominate and have the ball because he knows he has the pace to hit them on the break, and maybe that's why he's looked at the likes of Hutchinson as that Elanga replacement, because he's got the speed. I don't know if they'll. I can't pronounce his name. Is it Calamawendo?
Yeah.
He looks a prospect as well. I'm presuming he might be the Owaniyi replacement. But when you've got Chris Wood, all you got to do is put it in the box. If he continues the form he had last season, they could have 20-30% possession in a game and score 2 goals. I think they'll be okay. The issue will be the Conference League. How serious are they going to take it? And will that stretch their squad?
Okay. Do you let's top scorer? Yeah. Who's going to end up top scorer? Who's going to get the golden boot? I'll start with you, Jefferson.
I think, yeah, it might well be Erling Haaland, just playing it safe. I can't see it being like a Jokerez, like he takes first season by storm. It's still looking like Erling Haaland for me. I think Man City will score a lot of goals. It's going the other way, I think, will be their problem.
Okay, Big Inks.
I'll say, yeah, Erling Haaland. I would love to give it to Pedro, but I don't think he's going to get much minutes. I think he's going to have to share his minutes. I think Haaland will have full reign to play full 90s regularly. So I think I'll give it to Haaland.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to agree. I think Erling Haaland. I think he's gonna do it. I think he will take it personally that he didn't get it last season. You
Yeah.
know, he had to sit back and watch Salah get it. Salah put up great numbers. I don't think he's gonna, put those numbers up again. I think he'll get a lot of goals, but I just don't think he's gonna be able to go match Haaland. Be interested to see if Isak goes to join Liverpool, how many goals he gets. But yeah, I'm still gonna say Haaland. What about the assist leader?
Wow. Talk
Salah,
about a curveball.
yeah, Salah got it last season. Yeah, you've got that. You've got plenty others. There's plenty others in contention. Me personally, I think it's going to be between Cole Palmer and Wirtz. I think those two are gonna to do one. And then you can't discount Saka as well, because Saka does
Yeah, that's what I
get
was going to say.
a lot of assists. But if I had to stick my neck out, I'm gonna say Cole Palmer. I think he's gonna.
Sorry, what was that, D man?
Phil Foden. Phil Foden. Sorry, I said Phil Foden. Sorry, no. No, I think Palmer's gonna do it. I think the link up with Pedro. He looks serious. And he could create something out of nothing. So I think Palmer will get it.
Yeah, I agree, Palmer. I think Palmer could have got it last year if Jackson scored a lot of his chances. So yeah, I'd say Palmer will have the keys to unlock doors. And yeah, I'll give it to him.
Okay, Jefferson.
I'm gonna go left field, even though it's probably Palmer. I'm gonna say Reinders.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout. I
He's
think he'll
more
get
in
a
replacement, maybe, but
few get goals from quite a few goals from midfield. I think he will. It's going to be interesting. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up? I think we've covered most of it.
I ain't got anything.
yeah, I think that's it, really. I think just to say, the reason I don't think Sunderland will get relegated is, number one, they've recruited well. And I think even though they're going to miss out on a few players due to AFCON, I think they'll have enough points in the bag before the end of the season.
Okay. Okay. What we could end on, because obviously the next time we're going to be on air will be after we play Aston Villa. What do you think the score's going to be, Yinks?
I think it's gonna be a narrow victory, but I think we can get a 3-1.
Yeah.
I'm highly optimistic when it comes to Newcastle. I think machine for machine. I think that it's going to be a very highly. I think we're going to come in very defensive. I don't see Eddie Howe taking any risks. And we're going to try hit them on a break. I won't be. I'll be surprised if Murphy starts. I think Elanga will start, but I think we're going to try hit them harshly on a break regularly. It's going to be a difficult game. I think last time we played against Villa, Watkins was abusing our centre backs. So I don't think that's gonna happen again. I think I personally believe that depending on how well he does in training, Thiaw might start only because I think he should start if we're going if Eddie Howe's actually looking to combat that Watkins threat, Thiaw might start, and I think we're gonna just hit them hard on the press, hard on the counter attack. So I think we'll beat them 3-1.
Okay, Jefferson.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Based on our pre-season form, it's not looking good. Unless we pull off a Fugazi, where everyone's like thinking we're playing dead or whatever. I think it'll be 2-1 Villa, and the reason for that is number one, I think we tend to fall short in the second half because I just think the fitness still isn't there. And I think, unfortunately, because of the style, we require the fitness to excel. And I think, like Big Yinks talks about, our defensive focus and defensive shape might hold Villa back a bit. That's why I think it's going to be a low-scoring game with a 2-1 loss. But it'll be tight. It'll be tighter than people think. But can't see us getting the win, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm gonna go for 1-1. I think, like I said, I think we have to combat the threat of Watkins, and I think for that reason, Chow may start. Like I said, three centre backs. I think that may be the way forward. It's not gonna be a pretty performance, but first game of the season, we don't really care. Just want to get points on the board. Away from home, live on TV. We know what happened last time, but I think we will have learned a few lessons.
Maatsen as well. We couldn't get it. It wasn't even an attacker, but Maatsen we struggled with. I think he was man of the match as well.
Yeah, and this is a game I don't see us creating many chances. I think it's going to be another set piece or something like that because we've got the Gordon up front, which we know effective that or ineffective that usually is. But I think with the likes of Elanga, providing a different option to Murphy because Murphy struggled last time against Villa Park. I think we may be able to come out of there with something. I think we will. I think 1-1. I don't think we'll lose. Can't see us winning. I think a draw is probably the safest result on the day. Win says 2-1 to the Toon. Ever the optimist. Genius made a good point. Tielemans bossed the midfield that day. We have to get hold of that midfield as well. So
did Ramsey score the fourth?
Oh, that's a good question.
Did he come off the bench and score the fourth?
He scored against us.
I feel like he scored, didn't he?
He scored against us before. I know that.
Right.
I don't know if I'm imagining that. I'll quickly have a look, real quick.
Oh, Kenny's not very optimistic. 3-0 Villa. Brandt, opening day at Villa Park, 2-0 Villa.
I don't know why people think we're going to lose because we've got a phenomenal defense. I generally feel like we've got a very good defense. So it's not. That's the only reason why I don't believe we'll lose. And I just believe that again, all it needs is one shot, one goal, one kill, done. The game done. So I just have hope that we could win. You know what I mean?
Gary, 0-0, can't see a score. We need to nullify them. 3-2-2-2-1 formation.
Is that the Christmas tree?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
the Christmas tree formation. I'm sure it is.
William said, "I can't see the new boys playing, let alone starting at centre back." 3-1 to Villa.
It was Onana that got the fourth. Okay.
Oh my god, 5-1 Villa. Eddie Howe FC overhyped. Relax.
You're a menace, Kante. You are a menace.
Relax. Worry about Fulham. I don't know who Fulham got. You have to worry about whoever you lot are playing, mate. Yeah. But listen, I hope it's a good game. Connor says 2-1 Villa. Not many people. Well, I think only a couple people have Newcastle to win, which is interesting. So we will see. But I think that's a good place to leave it. Yinks, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate that.
Come back
Always
soon,
welcome.
man.
Yeah,
no worries, man. No, I appreciate you having me, man. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's some wins on our belts when I come back. I ain't gonna come back sweating and effing and blinding and saying Eddie Howe out.
We might be top of the league, like you said, mate. You know what? But you never know.
Hopefully.
You never know. You never know. But to those in the chat, thank you for contributing. Thank you for all the comments and stuff and the likes. Keep sharing the 90's Mags podcast with your people. Help the channel grow and that. And we'll be back. We'll be back Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
We'll be back on Sunday. Hopefully with smiles on our faces. Something to celebrate. And you never know. With another signing on the card, you never know. What we'll see. But yeah, until then, we're out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.